Welcome, everyone. This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting, this Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. Do we have a confirmation of the agenda?
We have one small amendment to the agenda. We need to add signing of a certificate of compliance after the notice of intent for Spectacle Pond for Littleton Light and Water.
Okay.
It's 156 Washington Street, DEP file number 100-0394. They're closing tomorrow.
Okay. Yep. So, is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended? Second. Is there a second?
I think Mark's trying to second.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yes, second.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of the meeting minutes. Any comments?
They're beautiful.
Yep, nicely written as usual. Is Jess with us? I don't see.
What?
She's there. Okay. I don't have all the pictures on my screen of you all. So motion to approve the meeting minutes as written.
I'll move.
Second.
We'll take a roll vote. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Accounts payable?
We have one invoice from Solitude Lake Management for task number 2 on our weed treatment program for this summer, total $14,250. And
that needs to be approved by Robert?
Well, or I think if you all approve it, I can have him sign it.
Yep.
This is too big for me to sign. But he's going to want to know that you approved it.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
When you said this is the first treatment?
Yes, the first treatment, it's task number 2. They did the pre-treatment survey as task number 1.
Okay.
So
Did
this
we
is,
get billed for task 1 yet?
I haven't seen the bill. That doesn't mean we haven't received the bill.
And the second treatment is going to be done when?
This was done on the 13th of July.
Yeah, but the next treatment, do you know when that's
Oh,
going to
the
be?
next treatment, I don't know the date of the next treatment.
And if this
Any
is task
other,
number 2, was it treating all the ponds, or what was task number 2, if you could refresh my memory?
The diquat treatment at Flanagan Pond and Pine Meadow Pond, and the initial sonar treatment and diquat treatment on Sandy Pond.
Okay, great, thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
Nope.
Motion to pay Solitude, was it $14,000?
$14,250.
$14,250 for the first treatment.
Second.
We'll do a roll call. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. So our first order of business this evening is the enforcement order update, 0 Central Avenue, John Hillier.
John, just before we start into that, I just have one quick housekeeping message, actually 2 quick housekeeping messages. We have a timekeeper tonight. Jen is going to keep us on time. We have an awful lot to get through, and she's got a sign that she'll put up at 3 minutes, and she'll be interrupting at 1 minute. And the other housekeeping item is, if you're not speaking, if you could please turn off your video so that the connection stays stable, and you can join us back with video when it's your turn on the agenda.
Okay. Thank you very much. So do we have Mr. Hillier, Mr. McKay, and Mr. Bouchard? Are they with us this evening?
We are, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm well, sir. Good to see you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. And Mr. Hillier is here as well?
It looks like he's here.
Okay.
He was earlier, and Mr. Burchard was here as well. They were both on mute. I'm scrolling through my screen. I assume they're still on the line.
I am here.
And John, we also have Town Council Amy Quessel with us.
Yes. Hey, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. All right. I thought I saw in my email as I was logging on, there was an NOI submitted.
There was, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to you and the commissioners again for seeing us. I'll be very brief. When we were before you 2 weeks ago, we had promised to file an NOI as a means to get us on the path to resolving the outstanding enforcement orders and the ticketing. It took quite a bit of work, for which Mr. Burchard deserves pretty much all of the credit for getting that done, but we did get that in late today, so that is in. And we look forward, obviously you folks have not had a chance to review it, and I know it hasn't been advertised or anything like that yet, so we're happy to discuss the substance of it further when the commission has had an opportunity to review it. Of course, if there are any questions in the interim, happy to answer any questions now, but we're obviously aware that there's a process that needs to go through. My one request would be that, last time we had asked for the suspension of the ongoing ticketing, and the commission was reluctant to do that given the fact that we had promised to file an NOI, but we hadn't actually filed the NOI yet. So now that we've done that, I would renew that request, and once the commission sets the public hearing on the NOI, we're happy to answer any questions and discuss the issue further with the commission.
All right. Well, as you know, we have a lot to get through this evening, and time is of the essence. So we can discuss this ticketing later. So if you can tell us a little bit about the substance of the NOI.
Sure. So the NOI is along the lines of what we had discussed with the commission last time. So it includes a plan. It also includes the deeds that we referenced, specifically the deed restriction or maintenance obligations that go along with the drainage channel. So we included that in the filing so that the commission can see not only the work that was done, but the work that we're asking for permission to have the ability to do on a going forward basis. The plan, I think, identifies with some specificity the work that was done before, and asks for the ability to maintain that drainage in accordance with the deeded obligations that Mr. Hillier has. That is limited to just hand tools. We've provided an O&M plan along with that to specify exactly what we're proposing to do, and that's the substance of the filing.
By the drainage channel, do you mean the intermittent stream?
Fair point, Mr. Chairman. We know that that's the commission's position, and we're prepared with the filing to treat it as such.
Thank you. All right, Kyle, do you have anything to add to this?
No, Mr. Chairman. I think that the application will be the subject of discussion with the commission when you've had a chance to review, and so I have nothing to add at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Well, given that we haven't been able to look at the NOI, I mean, I think I received it just a couple of minutes before I logged in, which is about 7:15. How do the commissioners feel about the ticketing? Are there any comments?
The one question we were sort of unprepared last time. We didn't know, Mr. McKay, that you were going to be at the meeting last time. But one of the questions that we've been, as we've had time to think about this, is you've indicated nothing further will be done on the lot. But a question that I have, at least, is parking still going to take place on that lot on a basically untreated, unprepared surface? We had back last year, or last fall, given permission temporarily for parking to continue on that lot while we were at that time waiting for an NOI submission, which never did happen at that time. But so that my question is, what's going to happen in terms of using that lot? And just one other point was, we did want to make very clear, I thought, that we're not objecting to something being done on that lot. It's not like the lot can't be used. It just has to be done with a plan that keeps in mind the intermittent stream. So we're not saying you can't use it for anything.
No, I don't think we ever said that, ever.
Oh, no, we've never said that. So
if I could address the question about the parking. The parking, if you remember, has been there for many, many years, including heavy equipment by the railroad, disposal and dumping of railroad ties and other debris. Thank you for that. So the parking would continue. It's a use that we've had of the property prior to the enforcement order, and I don't see it as I see it as a property right that is outside of this issue. We haven't talked about there's nowhere in the NOI enforcement issue that the parking is discussed.
Yeah, and I'm happy to address that as well. I guess we did not address it in the NOI, but we can certainly amend that to mention that use specifically. I'm not aware of any impacts that that's having on any resource area, but the point is well taken in the sense that our filing did not mention that issue, and we can certainly clarify that.
Well, I understand that it's been used for a long time, and in the past there's been no accountability for leakage and that sort of thing, but two wrongs don't make a right. So just because it has been done for a long time doesn't mean that it needs to continue. And our main goal is to protect the wetland resource, and we would just like to know that it would be protected.
Yeah, understood. And it certainly would be protected. There is a large earthen berm all along this area that shows vegetation to the right of the driveway. In fact, while installing the silt fencing along the top of that, which you can't see at this point because it's been overgrown, it was suggested to me by a wetland scientist that that with the berm there, the silt fence really was inoperable and wouldn't do any help at all. And so there's no risk to to the drainage ditch by the parking or the cars in those areas.
Or to the intermittent stream?
Sure, yes. Yep.
And I guess I'll add to that. The point is also well taken and appreciated that the commission is not taking the position that Mr. Hillier can't make any use of the property. And we recognize, and I think we state as much in the NOI filing, that if the use of the property changes and there is work on the property that requires a new NOI filing, we understand that that's the case, and that we're prepared to do that. At this point, there's no grand plan for the property that would entail that kind of work. So, but certainly we understand that going forward, if that were to change, that a new filing may be required.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Please.
So again, Amy Questle, Town Council. So under your local wetland bylaw, there is no grandfathering. So therefore, if there is an activity or a use being done within 100 feet of a resource area, then that should be addressed in some way. If the use is benign and not impacting the resource area in any way, then perhaps an RDA should be filed, or a request for determination of applicability, should be filed, and then, a negative could be a -2 or something could be issued, or a -3. But again, just because the use has been going on for so long doesn't mean that it can continue. This isn't zoning. This is a general bylaw, and there is no grandfathering with a general bylaw.
Thank you for that input. Any other comments from the commissioners?
Nothing at this time.
I'm sorry?
Nothing at this time, John.
Thank you.
John, I do have one thing to add. The enforcement order required both a notice of intent and a restoration plan. And I think it would be good to address the restoration plan while we have everyone in the room.
I think, well, I thought I heard that the plan was to let the lot grow naturally. Is that fair to say?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
And so the resource area that was disturbed was not very big. I don't think it would take much to get a restoration plan and implement it. I don't think it would take very much at all.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Kyle Burchard with GPR.
Yes.
The substance of the plan shows that there wasn't any work done in the resource area. It was in the buffers. And the proposal, it includes the maintenance obligations of the applicant to bring the channel down to its armored state. The armoring that's on the proper grade of the channel as it goes from one culvert to another. So that would be a different impact of the resource. There is no, currently there hadn't been a resource impact. Just a point of clarification.
Well, I thought there were some trees that were cut down.
I think there was one that was on the hinge, so maybe perhaps that, yes. And you would be right that would be a small restoration.
Yep. I think it would be a nice gesture. Any?
So I guess my sense of we had talked about the notion of a restoration plan last time, and we conveyed Mr. Hillier's position on that. I think that is a point for us that's open for discussion, and it really depends on what kind of a restoration the commission has in mind for the property, recognizing the nature of the property itself, and the present use of the property, and what's likely to be whatever future uses may be. In other words, if Mr. Hillier comes forward with a plan, 2 years from now, if certain plantings may have made sense, but others may not have made any sense. So I think there's certainly a recognition that the buffer and certainly the resource area needs to be properly maintained, but the subject of a restoration and what that restoration looks like, I think is an issue that rather than having us spend money in engineering trying to put together a plan that may not be what the commission has in mind, we'd certainly welcome a dialogue and to try and find some common ground for what the commission might have in mind, and then prepare a plan accordingly.
Well, we don't want a restoration plan for the entire lot. We just want, that most of it is outside of our jurisdiction. It's just for that very small area. And I think Joanne, you had a thought about the restoration plan and how it could be written.
Well, I did, and I think in order to get at what the commission is hoping to see in a restoration plan, the commission might be willing to consider drawing up the restoration plan ourselves.
We're talking about a very small number of trees.
Yes, this is really restoration of the tree cutting that was done within the resource area, possibly some that was done in the buffer zone without the proper permits from the commission. So we're not talking about restoring what's clearly been a very industrially used parcel to something other than what it is. We're just looking to restore the most recent activities that took place near a wetland resource area without the proper permits.
Joanne, if I may, I think the feedback I've received from residents and also possibly from members of the commission is that the impact of the tree removal is blaring coming up the bridge. So the approach leaving the downtown, coming up the hill to go over the bridge and looking out in almost where your camera angle here is from. So I wondered if there's shade trees or street trees that could be put along that upper area to sort of break up that visual impact, and it would soften the view of the buildings below as well.
Well, that's really up to the commission. Go ahead, John.
No, I don't think that's in our jurisdiction to ask you to plant there. If you wanted to, if you did, it would be great. I see what you're saying.
Mm. Well, it's just that's just, it seems to me that's been the biggest objection, or the biggest point of objection that I'm understanding, and to soften that, with trees like shade trees along the sidewalk, or some area up there where towards the top where it can soften the view of the railroad. Our building is pretty industrial looking. It's got vents on the roof. Would like to put solar on the roof someday, things of that nature. But So I mean, I can understand that, and perhaps from Alan, from the urban planning perspective, could lend some guidance too. But I'd be willing to, put, I don't know, eight or so trees along that area of a decent height. I would say 6 to 10 feet would be a reasonable start.
Are you asking for input from the commission on what?
Well, I think to sort of mitigate the, what was taken away from the town's perspective in terms of the residents and so forth, as part of the restoration plan. To me, that makes the most sense to, for the impact that was created. So yeah, I would be willing to do that for a restoration plan.
And if I might add to that, and this is the kind of conversation that I think, we're happy to have with the commission. My sense, and I went to the property this morning so that there's just no substitute for kind of walking the land. And, my sense from a wetlands perspective is that, that the property certainly has revegetated itself, and from a purely a wetlands resource area perspective, the work, while it certainly didn't have a permit when it was done, has not created a significant problem for the functioning of the resource area. What, in my view, makes a lot more sense, rather than sort of a restoration plan with an eye toward wetland specific issues, what makes more sense in my view is, a beautification plan, really, so that even if the property is not developed in the short term, at least it's more attractive, and at the same time, in addition to being more attractive, doesn't cause any harm to the resource area, and make certain that the plan is done in such a way that it it promotes the health and vitality of the resource area, rather than just, because I think that the trees, as I look at the plan of, what was the two trees closest to the resource area, one was right on the border, and one, looks like it was, a matter of inches, if not feet, outside of the resource area. I don't know that those two particular trees had, significant value from a resource area perspective, that it makes sense to, above other things, to replace that vegetation, or to come up with a plan that, that certainly has the resource area in mind, but overall beautifies the property a bit. Just an observation.
Yep, that's a good one. Yep, thank you. Any comments from commissioners about this?
I certainly would look very favorably on the issue of adding trees along that slope and beautifying that area. I think as we look at the plan and sort of the distances, we could consider whether putting in a couple trees to replace the couple that were sort of taken down in the resource area might make sense too at the same time, but that certainly wouldn't be a huge add. But to me, the mitigation going up that slope would be a good thing.
Mark?
I guess just with regards to the, what other members of the commission I think have pointed out in the past is, again, the parking of the cars, and, obviously understanding that, yes, it's been done now for many years, and probably, worse vehicles when John didn't own the property. But is there something that can be done such that, regardless of whatever John does in the future, protects the resource area, so we don't have to have this issue and this discussion again? Right now it's coming forth that, okay, yep, not going to do anything, potentially we're looking at planting some trees, but John is still intending to allow employees to park there, potentially leaking oil, leaking whatever, and again, I understand, yes, it's been done for years, but as John, our chairman said, right, then two wrongs don't make a right. How can we protect that so that nothing occurs in the future? Understanding that, maybe 2 years from now, John decides he wants to do something else. It seems like every few years something comes up, and we've been into these situations before on this particular parcel, and it always just seems to, nothing comes of it. It's walked away. It's, let's wait a few years and see what comes up next. So, and I haven't obviously been here through all of these items, but I'm just curious as to, instead of just kicking the can down the road, how can we resolve this and maybe make this a better situation so John has the ability to do something in the future without having to, worry about a different situation later on. If it's resolved now, just handle it now, I guess would be my position.
Yeah,
I do appreciate the gesture of the trees and everything, because yes, that was obviously one of the things that we all took notice of as to what's going on and probably how much of this came to light, really.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Looking at the picture, my main concern is to get the machine off of there, honestly, but I don't dare. So that's why it sits there. It's not sitting there for any other reason other than, my ability to do anything on the property, and parking is essential. It's a safety issue for my employees on Central Ave. We've lost any number of parking spots up and down Central Ave, and more continue in the downtown area now. The pressure for parking in air is
Right.
worse than ever. So that I think, my biggest concern is, getting the machine off of there, honestly. But I don't dare do it. So I'll just leave that there for your comment. But I have no plans a couple years down the road, or even 4 years down the road. The truth of the matter is the amount of money that's been spent on the property here is exhausted. It's the property's value. And to, from this point in time, just to let it revegetate makes the most sense. But the parking and the usage of that is a safety issue for us up on Central Ave.
Could I ask Kyle to tell us approximately where the 100-foot buffer is relative to some of the cars and machinery that are shown in the photo, which was taken today, by the way?
Sure, Joanne. All of the vehicles that we see, and maybe even the one that is across the street, the white car, could be in the 100-foot buffer. Certainly, Central Avenue is well within the 100-foot buffer, crossing the street to the incoming culvert that receives drainage from Central Avenue and from areas further upland. But the entire gravel area is within the 100-foot buffer. Your picture may not quite go far enough to capture the left edge of the extent of the 100-foot buffer, and of course, all the railroad tracks are partially in the 100-foot buffer, as well as the edge of the main street, like about half of the overpass on Main Street.
Okay. And would it be possible to park cars outside the 100-foot buffer and be out of our jurisdiction?
It would be possible. The access to that seems as if it would have to come through the 100 buffer some way or another.
Yeah, and unless I'm wrong, there's almost no part of the property. There's only a small portion of that parcel that is outside of the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah, To the northeast, the handicap spaces and most of the third space that are on the property at the front door of the building are outside of the 100-foot buffer. You know, farther to the west, just to the left of your photo is where we start being outside of the 100-foot buffer.
And the property continues towards the post office for quite a number of feet.
No, it
Well,
really,
that's what I was referring to. It continues that way for 40 to 50 feet because the buffer line is on somewhat of an angle.
Okay.
the buffer zone consumes about 80% of the property.
That's right.
And how many cars do you normally are parked down there? 6 or so?
Yeah, there might be 1 or 2 more up on this side. I don't know. Yeah, up on the side of the drive. So 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. There's no more than 8 cars can fit in there. Also understanding that the big bamboo growth you see at the top right hand side of the driveway is the start of the bank, and that's Kyle probably has the elevation, but I'd say it's probably a 5-foot bank. So nothing is going to go, up. There's no threat there to the water.
None of the water from the gravel, no drainage from the gravel area it's not possible with the current grades on the site to reach the resource area.
Jen, do you have thoughts on this issue?
I think that Mark and Jess spoke well to that. I would like to see a restoration plan, whether that is, to Joanne's suggestion, something that we put forth. But I would like to see a little bit more detail and, of course, read through the NOI. But in the interest of time, it seems like we may not be able to make the decision tonight.
Can I ask you, please, how much time you have left?
We've got about 30 minutes. We've got about 13 minutes left on this one.
George, do you have some comments on this?
Well, I agree with you, John, that the slope is outside our jurisdiction in terms of restoration. My main interest in restoration would be along the resource area. Scrub brush is not the same as trees. You have different habitat in each one, so I think we need to restore some of the original habitat that was lost when the trees were taken down in the resource area. I would like to see restoration on the slope, but that's really not our jurisdiction.
Yeah. Well, I guess, Joanne, would you be willing to work with Mr. Hillier and trying to iron out a restoration plan?
Oh, I would be very willing to do that.
Thank you.
That would be great.
Thank you,
Mr.
Joanne.
Hillier, would you agree to that?
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Joanne.
So I guess the one thing that we need to discuss, unless there's more about this that you wanted to talk about right now, I mean, Ms. Quessel, is there any input that you would like to give us at this point?
No, not as long as he's willing to plant some trees. I think that's great.
Okay, great, thank you. I guess the other issue is the ticketing, and I'm curious as how the commissioners feel about continuing with the ticketing, given that the NOI was given to us at the 11th and a half hour. If you all have some thoughts about that.
I would say I'd be, given we have the NOI in hand, theoretically at least, I'd be willing to suspend further ticketing, but also defer making a decision on ratifying the existing tickets until we've formally reviewed the notice of intent and plan.
restoration.
Mark, how do you feel?
Yeah, I was actually I was thinking exactly what Jess was thinking, right? So I'd be comfortable in ceasing issuing new tickets, but we have a portion of what was asked for in the enforcement order. Right? The restoration plan then is obviously the second piece. So, you know, I do not want to, you know, rescind the tickets that have already been issued. But it looks like we're moving in a good direction that I could definitely see that happening.
Jen, how do you have thoughts?
I agree with that. Hold off on ratifying the current charges now, but we can hold off on or stop on further tickets. It's fine.
George, how do you feel about that?
I agree with that approach.
Okay. Well, I agree with that as well. Truly appreciate the effort that you're making, and we would like to. I think we would like to stop writing tickets and hold off on ratifying. And we actually get to be able to see the NOI restoration plan further down the line.
Can I add one point too, which is that I know the beautification of that slope is outside our technical jurisdiction, but as we consider the issue of ratifying or not ratifying the existing tickets, I know on behalf of the town and the impact on the town, at least, I would be much more favorable to not ratifying the tickets if that beautification part was also included, even if it isn't in our jurisdiction.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Any other comments?
So just from an administrative point of view, we've issued tickets through and including Monday of this week. So we still have Tuesday, Wednesday, and I don't know about today. We did get well, actually, you know, under the state of emergency, the notice of intent is supposed to be submitted to the town clerk's office to be stamped in. We're going to play to the letter of the way this goes. And Kyle, I'll talk to you about that tomorrow. But it seems like we've got a couple more tickets that need to be issued just because we didn't receive the notice of intent on Tuesday or Wednesday.
If I may speak to that for a moment, I mean, I guess I do object to that on a certain level, and I recognize the commission is within its rights to issue tickets until the matter is formally resolved. But I think we've come in good faith. We've submitted the NOI. We've indicated a willingness to entertain discussion on a restoration plan. You know, I think we've come a far way, and to issue tickets for the last couple of days, I think seems a little unnecessary. But I'd ask the commission to use its discretion in not doing that. But I've recognized the history of this matter as well, and I'm sensitive to that.
Well, since you are coming to us in good faith, and we do appreciate it, I think it would be fair to not to write the 2 tickets or 3 or whatever what you were talking about, Joanne.
Well, that's totally up to you guys.
How do
I'm
you
in favor of that as well.
That's fine.
All right, that's what
We
we
need to make a motion and to vote that, or
a motion to cease the tickets.
right, to cease issuing new tickets and to hold off, you know, suspend the decision on ratifying the tickets until we see the restoration plan and, you know, look through the NOI.
Do we have a deadline for the restoration plan? Because I don't want to do that kind of open-ended.
Yeah, we should have a deadline.
Yep. Like next meeting.
Right.
That's doable, right, Joanne?
It's doable on my end. John Hillier, what do you think?
Next meeting will be the 13th of
Yeah.
August, I believe.
Yes,
What's the next meeting?
13th of
August.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to be unavailable for some part of that time, Joanne. Are you are there vacations involved or anything of that nature that might?
Yeah, just keep that in mind, Joanne. You're supposed to take some time off.
Well, yes, I am supposed to. Well, John, can you, we really should put an end date on it. I agree. So
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that as long as there's open availability. We lost a lot of time this past week, and I apologize to the commission, but for not getting everything in. But I was unavailable as part of this, and it is, you know, the middle of the summer, I guess, so it's a little difficult to work around people's vacations, I suppose. But some things are, you know, planned in advance. I'm open, you know, and can be available to do it. I'll make sure it gets done.
well,
If you've got an open availability, then I do too.
yeah, I will make myself available, but you tell me what date that works for you that we can complete this by.
So perhaps David can comment.
Yeah, my suggestion is to tie it to the likely date of the hearing on the NOI, and so that the restoration plan is done no later than a week before that date, or you know, something along those lines that works for the commission. So the commission certainly has a chance to review it in advance of the next meeting, but that also gives John and Joanne the chance to work out the details, and to the extent that from John's standpoint we need input from Kyle on any of it. I know, you know, this is not the only project that he's working on, but he's been extremely responsive in getting in helping us on this. But I want to be respectful of, you know, kind of everyone's schedule to the extent that we can.
So why don't we make the restoration plan has to be submitted by close of business of August 10th, sorry.
Yeah, we have some latitude as to when we open the public hearing on this NOI. We can open it at our next meeting. We can also put it off to the meeting after that.
I'd be a fan of getting it done all together, if that's possible. So, I mean, if we can get I suppose I'm understanding there's notices that have to get mailed, and newspaper advertisements to be placed, and but if it's possible to get all this done by the next meeting, I'm all for it. The sooner this is put to rest, the better for me.
Got about 3 minutes left on this.
Okay.
Joanne, does August 10th seem reasonable then?
It does to me.
Okay.
For the restoration plan, and also affording us enough time to open the public hearing then on the 13th?
Oh yeah, we can absolutely do the advertising. The abutter notification is the applicant's responsibility.
Okay.
All right. So why don't between you and John figure out what day, you know, next week you guys can meet up, be it in the field or however this has to happen. So, you know, so again, you can give them a little bit of insight to it, and be it John, be it Kyle, whoever, you know, needs to be there, and then they can be off on their merry way and do their final designs and such.
John Hilliard, does that work for you?
Yeah, I can shoot you an email offline, but I'm available tomorrow too if you want to kick this off right away.
Okay. Town Hall works a short day on Fridays because we will work a really long day on Tuesdays, as you know. But let's touch base tomorrow, and we can compare schedules and make a plan.
Okay.
So do we need to make a
Jen,
motion?
2 minutes?
I'm sorry.
1 minute left.
Do we need to make a motion to stop the ticketing?
Might as well.
Yeah, 'cause this is something that I don't know much about the ticketing.
Well, we have town council with us. We could ask her.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would, just because it will memorialize it in the minutes.
Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to stop ticketing on 0 Central Ave, Mr. John Hillier, starting, what was,
So you will be suspending the tickets from, sorry, I'm sorry.
Monday was the last
Suspending
one.
the tickets from, suspending the tickets from July 21st. So you issued one Monday, Joanne?
Yes, the 20th was the last day I
So
issued.
the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd. Those 3 days will be suspended.
and
forward.
forward.
Well, the tickets were issued because there was no NOI filed, and an NOI was filed. You are not suspending tickets going forward because he could go out tomorrow and do something. So I think that right now you're suspending the tickets for those 3 days, and that's the motion. However, it is expected that Mr. Hillier and Joanne will work together and come up with a restoration plan. So you should be fine.
So is there a motion to suspend ticketing to 0 Central Ave, Mr. John Hillier, July 21st, 22nd, 23rd?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
Should we add into this motion deferring action on ratifying the existing tickets until we have had a chance to review and decide on the NOI?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Very good.
So Dave, I'm confused what happened just now. My understanding was that we put our best foot forward and the tickets would cease being issued moving forward. And then there was a discussion about a couple that hadn't yet been issued.
Well,
and so have we suspended the tickets moving forward or just suspended a couple for a few days? I'm confused.
Moving forward.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are being suspended. Since you're going forward and you gave us an NOI, there will be no more ticketing.
Okay. Understood. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
Sure. All right. So motion to continue this enforcement order update until August 13th.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? And George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Well, thank you, Mr. Hillier, and for your cooperation. We truly do appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Joanne, and the rest of the commissioners as well. I appreciate your time tonight. I know you got a long night ahead, and I appreciate everything. So, thank you.
John.
I echo that. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're all set with me?
I believe, unless someone else has a question.
I think we're good for now.
Okay. All right. I will see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Good night.
Good night.
So the next item this evening is a public hearing, continued notice of intent. Ayer DPW Spectacle Pond PFAS treatment plant, DEP number 100-0443. How are we doing with that, Joanne?
We are ready to electronically sign. We worked out language for a future turtle protection plan with Natural Heritage, ran it by the consultant, ran it by DPW superintendent, and I have the order right here. Your names are all typed in as though you intend to sign.
Any comments?
Nope.
From commissioners?
Nope.
Any comments from anyone who might be viewing us on Zoom? Okay. So is there a motion to approve a notice of intent on the Ayer DPW Spectacle Pond PFAS treatment plant, DEP number 100-0443?
You say notice of intent to order conditions.
I'm sorry?
I think you said notice of intent. Should
Yeah.
be order conditions.
Oh, order of conditions. I'm sorry. Yep.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. All right.
All right, good. I'll sign this in ink while we're here.
And a quick motion to close the public hearing then too.
And is there a motion to close the public hearing, notice or order of conditions, Spectacle Pond PFAS treatment plant, DEP number 100-0443?
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. All right. Man, we got a rain coming down now, huh?
Yeah.
So we have a public hearing continued. Notice of intent, 0 Washington Street, Air Solar 2B, DEP file number 100-0444. Are you with us, Kyle?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and we can see you too. Good evening, sir.
Great. Good evening. So I'll be brief, as I understand the commission is pressed for time. I only have a moderate update anyway. The natural heritage review of the project is going, well, it's actually about over. There is a slight issue about a conservation restriction that needs to be handed over to someone's maintenance charge. So if the commission would be interested in pursuing that, it's about 35 acres of wetland area, including beaver habitat and so on. But there is a no-take that's on the table. It just needs some of that processing to be done and set up in order to get that letter. About a week ago, we had a very good meeting with the peer review consultant. I see Mr. Allen is on the call, and we, in theory, kind of resolved most things. It still has to be final engineered and provided for final review. There was one additional straggling comment on the solar field from Neo Virtus' standpoint, and we're going to be providing that information. The one sticking point was the stream crossing, and we couldn't really quite understand what each other was saying, I think, and I just wanted to kind of present a perspective on that to the commission very briefly as to what it is that the stream crossing standards are actually suggesting and recommending and requiring, and more importantly, what they're not requiring. Quite simply, what we have put in front of the commission initially was a double-barreled culvert that was half filled with stream substrate, which was an acceptable method that, of course, did not meet the openness ratio of the stream crossing standards. But even with that configuration, NHESP is finding its way to issue a no-take letter. Expo Associates, certainly a recognized expert in ecology and stream conditions, at this end of their report, in the specific evaluation, the stream channel where the crossing is taking place, stated the stream channel itself does not appear to provide any migratory corridor between two otherwise disconnected habitat features. I think they're referring to the large BVW that is downstream, and the channel that's coming through the Madigan Lane subdivision, which is left in a fairly natural state, but is mowed right up to the edges. So I did, and I appreciate Mr. Chairman allowing the submittal of some images. They're very simplistic images, but I think they make a decent point. If Joanne, you might be able to go to even the last one. Can we start there, please? So this last image is a very simplistic diagram to scale of the elements that are involved. And the green arcing line represents the articulated arch span culvert that is currently proposed to leave the natural substrate bottom, and the lighter blue in the middle, the rectangle standing up, is about the dimension of the opening of the stone culvert, which is directing discharge through the arch culvert. And the red box on the bottom is about the widest and deepest point of the stream channel itself. So the black boxes on either side is speculative on my part. Could be the footings that are required for the arch culvert. The bigger rectangle up above represents the end wall, if you will, that will be on the ends of the culvert. So this is just a depiction to understand an order of magnitude scale of what is involved and what is proposed versus what is there already today. So I'd like to also just look at the actual stream crossing standards briefly. There are really 6 standards that are called out specifically. Very briefly, they're the type of crossing. There's a standard for embedment, the crossing span, openness, the substrate, and water depth and velocity. Nowhere in here is it saying that the existing stream channel must be preserved, but rather that continuity of the system is preserved. And so that is what we are achieving with what we're proposing. And when we bring it back in, we will be identifying the standards. As Mr. Allen has stated, the burden of proof is on the applicant, specifically with respect to bank and Mass General Law, or 310 CMR 10.54 is the part of the Wetlands Protection Act that speaks to bank and whether or not that bank needs certain protections, whether it will not be allowed to be adjusted, and that's for things like water supply, flood control, and wildlife habitat. And again, we go back to Oxbow's investigation of the wildlife habitat of this particular stream channel. And Joanne, if you would please go up to the next image. So I understand this is very hard to read, and it was thrown together quickly, graphically, without any labels, and I apologize about that, but I appreciate the commission in humoring me as I try to speak to it. So currently what we're proposing is in a light green type of color. That's correct. And all those little black T's that are there are tiebacks to the head wall that is required to hold back and hold up the road that crosses over the culvert. Now the blue culvert that's shown there on an angle is attempting to depict what might be the case if a culvert were trying to be placed along or over the black lines. Represent the thin black lines. Yes, those represent the location of the existing stream channel banks today. The light blue thin line that's coming through the green culvert is what we generally would be proposing to do to relocate that stream to maintain its continuity. Now, I was out there on Saturday and I went about 50 feet down the stream bed, and I'll tell you, it's pretty overgrown and it's pretty small. And it's very flat in that whole area. And while it might be, the idea of trying to maintain the existing channel is not something that's required in the stream crossing standards nor in the Wetland Protection Act. We will add some detail to the infeasibility of doing that. First and foremost, by angling the culvert gets longer, and therefore to comply with the openness ratio, the culvert has to get much bigger, and it's much less feasible to construct that in an arch, and therefore we would end up disturbing that part of the stream channel with a full box and trying to replicate through the box the channel that we would be removing. It's hard maybe to visualize, but in calculating the lengths of the bank that would be disrupted with both scenarios, we're within a couple feet, one way or the other, whether it's the straight culvert utilizing a natural substrate bottom all the way and just adjusting the alignment, or tearing out the entire stream channel and putting in 2 feet of substrate into the box. So we'll go into more detail with what we submit, but I wanted to put that into the Commission's mind and for a brief understanding of what we're looking at. I might also mention that due to the change to the arch span culvert, our overall wetland impact has reduced by about 500 square feet. I'm really not sure that would be the same if we tried to angle it. One other footnote, the blue culvert, because of its extra length, would have to be widened out. Instead of the 9 feet wide that the proposed culvert is, would have to be somewhere between 12 and 15 feet wide for a stream channel which has the flow capacity of approximately, less than 1 cubic foot per second. It's a volumetric flow of discharge. And the 2-year storm event alone is 25 cubic feet per second. So this stream channel serves a function. It's there, but it's not holding the waters in. It overflows, and it's very, very diminutive. And so placing it in another location nearby is something that we feel is very reasonable. And that will be our approach when we bring our application revised back in. So if there are any questions about that, I'd be happy to discuss them. I know you haven't had a chance to maybe review this, and it's maybe hard to read, but I hope that there is some rationale, especially with the graphic of the to scale section down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Again, is quite an adequate stream crossing that will promote any passage. Thank you for that, Jennifer. It will promote the passage of any wildlife that might be coming up from the BBW and getting to the Little Stone head wall.
Comments from the commissioners?
Kyle, so just quickly, between the green or aqua, the originally proposed with the redirection of the stream, and now the blue angled culvert, the width dimension appears to be the same. So again, you would be indicating that.
I very quickly put this together, Mark. I was trying to figure out if we were to use the same width culvert, would it fit over the stream channel? But right. I didn't take into account the openness ratio and calculating the width. So it would be another, almost half again as wide. So
yep. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was just I was confirming that because that's how I was visually seeing it. But when you said that at the end, I wanted to just make sure that was the case. So okay.
That is the case. It would be much wider.
Okay. All right.
When you do submit a plan, can you make very clear where the existing stream channel is, where you want, I mean, because this drawing was pretty incomprehensible to me.
I understand. Yes, thank you for bearing with it.
Maybe even two separate plans, one of the existing and then one how you would relocate it if we were to permit that or not. Make it comprehensible.
Yes.
You don't mean relocate, just you mean with this new angled one, you mean, right?
Well, that's what I see. I'm not quite certain what really.
What I will do, Jess, is I will have a comparison of these two, the pros and cons effectively, and it will be something in our report. But I'm just saying the rational way to approach this, the reasonable and engineering prudent way to approach this, which is also part of the stream crossing standards, is to build a stable structure. Putting it at this angle is not going to work for this project. But I will, the burden of proof, as Mr. Allen has pointed out, is on the applicant, and I will bring forth that burden of proof.
Under a minute left.
Do you have comments, Jen?
Oh.
George?
Um,
Is Mr. Allen with us?
Yeah, if I could just, Art Allen from Ecotech, just briefly mention to Kyle, if you could in your narrative address 310 CMR 10.544A, the performance standards for bank, and
Yep.
note in number 6 of those standards, it states that work on a stream crossing shall be presumed to meet the performance standards set forth in 310 CMR 10544A,
Right,
provided
which
the
deals
work
with
is
water supply and flood control and wildlife habitat, and we'll certainly address those, Art.
and the rest of that sentence says, provided the work is performed in compliance with the Massachusetts stream crossing standards. So yeah, however you approach this, just address, keep in mind and address those standards which pertain specifically to the bank, in this culvert, and don't actually relate to connectivity at all. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jen, are we out of time, Jen?
We're over. Yep.
All right.
So
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Bill.
It was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to continue the public hearing? Notice of intent, 0 Washington Street, Air Solar 2B, DEP file number 100-0444 until August 13th.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
I
Chairman votes aye. All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
The next item this evening is the public hearing, notice of intent, Lot 6, Shaker Road, DEP file number 100-0446. And I believe we've been asked to continue this until August 13th. Is that correct?
Yes, the engineer on this project asked that this be continued so that he and the DPW superintendent can sort out some stormwater issues.
Okay. All right, very good. Is there a motion to continue the public hearing of notice of intent, Lot 6, Shaker Road, DEP file number 100-0446 until August 13th?
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Yes?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. All right, our next item this evening is public hearing, the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, the ANRAD, off of Wright Road, DEP file number 100-0445. What's the status?
The engineer for this project has agreed to have us continue this since the RFP is not pulled together yet for peer review of the wetland line.
Okay, very good. So is there a motion to continue the public hearing ANRAD off of Wright Road, DEP file number 100-0445 until August 13th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Yes?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Next item this evening is a public meeting request for determination 71 Nashua Street, Ryan Clinton. Are we ready to sign?
We are ready to sign. Do I see Ryan with us? He was.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, there you are.
Ryan.
Hi, thank you for taking the time to discuss this again tonight.
Oh, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
So Ryan and I emailed back and forth a little bit today, and I shared with him our conditions on this negative determination. And Ryan, I assume they're all right with you?
So so I understand, you took a look at the site, and your recommendation is that some of the trees may be disrupted by digging up the area in their kind of their root zone. And so you would suggest taking them down if they begin to die. Is that accurate?
We believe that they're probably going to die, so it'd be in your best interest to probably take them down as you're doing
Okay.
this.
Yeah, just given that the area that we would be digging up is already in the cleared zone that was disrupted so recently, I'd be surprised if any large roots were there, which is why I wasn't thinking of initially taking them down. But we can definitely look into it.
You'll know soon enough.
The way I wrote the condition is regarding the trees. It says the trees adjacent to the driveway expansion will likely die and may be removed. So you won't need another RDA if you do.
That's great.
If you do need to remove those trees, because they will likely die.
Okay. Yeah, that works for us.
And then the other two conditions, erosion controls will be installed and inspected before the work begins. And then the commission prefers the use of a permeable surface for the driveway and the turnaround.
That's acceptable.
Oh, that would be me.
Okay. Sounds great.
That way I get to see Evelyn too.
Yeah, no, that sounds perfect.
Any other comments? Is there a motion to issue a negative determination on the RDA 71 Nashua Street, Mr. Ryan Clinton?
With the conditions as described.
Pardon?
With the conditions as just
With the
described.
conditions as described.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. All right. So when you get ready to do your work and your contractor gets the erosion controls in, please give Joanne a call.
Sounds great. I'll be in touch.
So there is one added complication here. This is all set to go. It's been electronically signed. And this will apply to 3 Trevor Trail as well. So DEP has the right to appeal this decision, and through the magic of the state of emergency, you now can ask DEP whether they plan to appeal or not, rather than waiting for 45 days after the end of the state of emergency, which is how long they have to appeal. And I will send you the, there's a letter for this. It's a fairly simple procedure, involves a real letter, an email, and they'll probably get back to you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah, if you could pass that along, that would be much appreciated.
Yep, I will. And so you can't start until you hear from them.
Oh, that's fine. Our contractor or friend with a backhoe is out of commission for a little while, so we have some time.
Okay, very good. I'll get that to you tomorrow.
Excellent.
1 minute.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next item this evening is a public meeting is the RDA number 3 Trevor Trail. Mr. Rob Stedman, are you with us?
Steven.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for listening to me again and discussing this and visiting us almost 2 weeks ago.
Yep. Oh, it was a pleasure. So we are, I think we're ready. We're ready to sign on this, aren't we?
Something's squeaking. Yes, the conditions on this negative determination, which is good, it's what you want, a negative determination, that erosion controls will be installed and inspected by me before work can begin, and that no concrete washout will take place on the property.
Okay.
So sometimes when concrete contractors either pouring a foundation or a patio come in, they'll want to wash out their chute and just let the washout water and extra concrete go on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And since really practically your whole yard is in the buffer zone, they're going to have to make arrangements to take their washout water back,
Yeah.
plant with them.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want that in your yard anyway.
No.
But other than that, this is all signed and ready to go. And then I will get you the information about asking DEP if they're planning to appeal this tomorrow when I send it to Ryan.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're
Are there
welcome.
any comments from commissioners?
Nope.
So is there a motion to issue a negative determination on the RDA for Mr. Rob Stedman with the conditions that were described?
Second.
Joanne, I have one quick question. We still have the erosion controls in place from the construction. We haven't removed those. Would that suffice?
Joanne would probably just have to go back out and inspect them, maybe just to confirm they're okay.
Yeah, I can come out and take a look at them. Actually, tomorrow I've got to go take a look at some other things, so I'll just take a quick visit by, I think, where there's digging that's going to be happening with the cut and fill to get your patio level. The erosion controls where they are might not be appropriate, but I will come take a look.
Yeah, and maybe issue some advice. That would be great.
Yes. Yep.
So George, how did you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you too.
Thank you.
Good luck with your project.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
The next item this evening is a notice of intent. I'm sorry?
No, that was just somebody leaving, I think.
Oh, okay. Notice of intent, Spectacle Pond, Littleton Electric Light and Water DEP, file number 100-0447. So we're going to open a public hearing on for an NOI.
Yes, yep, and we have Rob Hartzell here.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
I'm here, Bob Hartzell from Comprehensive Environmental, here on behalf of Littleton Electric Light and Water Department to present the project.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. So I guess I can just get right into it. I know you guys have a packed schedule, so I'll try to give a quick rundown here. Okay, thank you. I will get some figures up there. So this is an ecological restoration limited project for seasonal winter drawdown of Spectacle Pond. And we are, just in case I forget to mention this up front, we are seeking, if it's appropriate for the commission, a 5-year order of conditions that would be in coordination with the permit that was issued by Littleton, which is where the majority of the pond lies. And that 5-year order of condition is as recommended by the DEP reviewer, Judy Schmitz of Mass DEP, just to kind of allow for, this type of thing to continue without just administratively having to come back on a frequent basis. So the purpose of the project is to seasonally draw down the lake level as part of a long-term and sustainable plant management strategy. So Spectacle Pond does have native invasive species, which are curly-leaf pondweed, variable milfoil, and fanwort. And the pond is treated with herbicides to help manage these plants, but drawdown helps kind of take the edge off a little bit, and it's part of a combined, integrated strategy. And it doesn't do everything, but it does help primarily in the nearshore, shallowest areas where plant growth tends to be the densest. So it helps limit the need for herbicides, or at least limit the amount and the frequency of herbicide treatment. So the mechanics here, the way that the lake would be drawn down is to release water by way of a brand new 12-inch adjustable valve that was put in at the pond outlet structure that you can see there in the picture. The square shape and the adjustable valve call out there, that is new within the past year, and that was put in as part of a bigger project that extends from Spectacle Pond to Forge Pond and then down through several other small ponds in Westford as part of a flow management, an integrated flow management project to help minimize periods of low flow that affects the ecology of Gilson Brook and Stony Brook as they work their way through the ponds. So there's a real-time data system called Dam Dashboard, which is up and running, that lets us see in real time on iPhone or just on your computer exactly what the water level is in the ponds and what the stream flow levels are. So by putting in this valve, it lets us have these small releases that helps, when we know that the stream flow is getting low, below an ecological threshold, that helps, let some water out as long as it's still maintaining a reasonable level within the ponds. So, this is a side benefit that allows us to do drawdown in a way that's very precise. What would have happened before this is those larger concrete stop logs that you can see, that would have been the only way to release water and change the level of the pond. So now we have a lot more finesse, and we can do this in a way that's protective of downstream flows and gives us more control. So the timing of drawdown would be in accordance with Natural Heritage no-take letter, which was received. So that there is Blanding's turtle habitat around the pond. So the requirement here for timing is just that we avoid the final movement of turtles as they move towards hibernation and brumation. So the pond level will be dropped between September 15th and October 14th, and a refill would have to occur by April 1st. And it's a pretty typical timeline for drawdown for those ponds. The target level of drawdown, so the maximum vertical drawdown that can be achieved, and if you could go to figure 5, this shows it. There we go. So with all the stop logs in, all 4 stop logs, we'd be just a little bit below elevation 210. And the drawdown target would be 207.7. Normal configuration, though, there are only 3 stop logs in, so we really, unless there was an extreme situation, which I can't even imagine we'd be getting into, we're only really talking about a vertical drop of 1.3 feet for the seasonal drawdown. So in the context of what most lake drawdowns go for, really modest. That's actually well within the normal range of what you would see the pond fluctuate during a normal summer, going from spring to summer. And the pond environment and all the wetlands around it have really adapted to those kind of pond level changes. Usually any drawdown less than 3 feet is considered a very minimal drawdown and is often done just for purposes of taking pressure off the dam seasonally, just to avoid dam failure and so on. So the proposed 1.3 feet is a pretty tiny drawdown as these things go. As the lake level, the pond level is being reduced to stay in conformance with DEP guidelines, the pond would only be dropped by an average of 3 inches per day, and that would be maintained as a 2-day rolling average. And the way that we keep track of that is through that Dam Dashboard real-time data system There's a pressure transducer both in the pond and in downstream locations. So we know instantly if we're exceeding that flow rate or we're exceeding that drop on a per day or per 2-day basis. And that allows us to go in there and adjust the valve to release less water or release more water if it's feasible. So records for that whole process of drawing down the lake, that's kept digitally, automatically through Dam Dashboard. And that's something that the commission, if they were interested in seeing this as it was going on, you can log right on and you can see it on, like I said, on your iPhone or whatever else. URL for that website is right in the notice of intent on page 3 of the project description. So that's something that it's good for transparency. It lets us know that, that information is out there in the world. And, if ever there's an issue, it's right there and publicly visible, and it helps you keep an eye on it and helps us keep an eye on it and do a good job with it. So there are several other categories of information, things that need to be met to do a drawdown. I don't want to take your whole night going into them, but basically for fisheries protection and wildlife protection, the project has been screened by the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, and they've issued a letter of no objection. In general, wildlife protection, as we talked about for turtles, that's done by way of of operating within that prescribed timeline. Starting the drawdown, finishing the drawdown, and having the water level back up to a normal level during the times as in accordance with the natural heritage no-take letter. So that's the real quick lightning tour of the project. I'm happy to take any questions. And again, just to kind of recap what I started with, we're seeking, if it's amenable, a 5-year order of conditions to be administratively in sync with Littleton. And as far as that goes, a copy of the order of conditions from Littleton is included as an attachment to the NOI.
Are there any comments from the commissioners?
No,
the only comment I have is that I can't wait. Well, I have 2 comments. I can't wait to check out Dam Dashboard. That looks very neat. The technical comments that we got from DEP when we got the file number on this just asked that we coordinate with Littleton's order of conditions and also Westford's. Bob, are you filing in Westford also?
That I think, well, we are, as part of this broader project that I mentioned, where we're trying to maintain that ecological baseline flow. As part of that, we had a jointly permit in Littleton for what was going on at Forge Pond, because that's half in Littleton and half in Westford. So I think that they might have missed that nuance that this is fully in Littleton.
Okay.
But, the Littleton coordination is necessary.
Okay, good. Yeah, and as I bet Jess was starting to say, this is something that you all have permitted in the past.
Yep.
Any comments, Jen?
Oh.
George?
No, I'm good.
Mark?
Just quickly, so looking at the depth, I didn't get it from the dam outlet upstream pond view that we're looking at there, but I think it's the next one. I didn't know how deep the pond was, so that's kind of what I was looking at. So, yeah, so you're, like you said, you're taking a foot or so off of this, but impact-wise, actually, I think even 1 before that now, you indicate essentially from the aerial view as to how much water comes out by the legend there, right? Is that what that is, or is that really just the location of the invasive?
Oh yeah, no, that's showing the areas where a consulting firm or a lake management firm had done herbicide treatments, just to give a general sense of where problematic densities of these invasive plants are found in Spectacle Pond.
Okay, all right. So then I guess going back to the depth contour. So again, as you're bringing down a foot or so.
Yeah, that contour, that blue area shown in the figure 6, that's showing the maximum extent of if we were to do that 2-foot vertical drawdown. In actuality, you're looking at about half of that really.
Yeah, okay.
And that's just exposure during the winter. So the way it works is by drawing down the pond, you're exposing the sediments, and you're controlling the plants in two ways. One is just by, there are certain aquatic plants that have overwintering structures. So when they're exposed to freezing conditions, they'll actually burst and they won't be viable for the next growing season. And when you get it perfectly right in terms of timing during refill, sometimes you can refill early, even though you're required to, by permit, to refill by April 1st. It's often advantageous if you get a good hard freeze without a protective layer of snow on top of it to refill earlier than that, so that that frozen layer will actually buckle up like an ice cube and take some of the root structures with it. So the primary means of control that was by freezing and desiccation.
Okay.
So that's the quick overview.
Okay, great.
I've never been involved with a drawdown before. Is this something that involves a site walk? I would think probably no, right?
Not that I've ever seen. You'd be right this time of year. You'd be looking at open water on the pond. There's all the stuff that's exposed is, covered by water right now.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Bob, what's the cost of this?
The cost the cost of actually physically doing the drawdown is really nothing. It's just, releasing the water by way of the valve.
So I guess what was the cost of the valve installs?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. The person who on our firm who was involved with that, the design and oversight of that, was actually on vacation this week, and he would have been here presenting this hearing. I don't have a dollar figure out for you on that.
Okay.
But we can certainly provide it after the hearing if you'd like.
Just curious. So I will run it on minutes, so I'm sorry. So I'm good. Thank you.
This drawdown is what we do on Sandy Pond. We have our own order of conditions for that. We're just taking up the board, so.
Yeah, a much less low tech.
Okay.
Are we ready to vote on this?
Yes.
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 Motion to approve order of conditions. Spectacle Pond, Littleton Electric Light and Water, DEP file number 100-0447.
For 5 years.
Is it 5 years? For 5 years?
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
So our next item this evening is Certificate of Compliance, 156 Washington Street, file number DEP, file number 100-0394.
Yes, I inspected this yesterday. Everything looks fine. I've got the COC here with your electronic signatures on it, and I can go ahead and sign in ink.
Any comments?
So was it done as originally permitted?
Well, so it was done better than originally permitted. He moved some of that steep slope that was covered with riprap in closer to the house, farther away from the wetland. There's hardly enough room behind the house to walk behind the house. And the erosion controls are still there, but they're closing tomorrow. I'll make sure he gets those out of there. It turns out that the order of conditions was in fact recorded, although it took the seller's attorney to provide us with a copy of that recorded order. It still was expired. But in speaking with our circuit rider about this situation, she said, just go ahead and issue the COC. If it was built substantially in conformance with the approved plan, which is my conclusion that we should just go ahead and issue the COC.
Okay.
3 minutes.
Any other comments?
No.
We have a motion to approve the certificate of compliance at 156 Washington Street, file number 100-0394.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye.
All right, I'm signing in ink.
Just so you know, we have about 20 minutes left.
20 minutes. We have a half an hour on our, okay. Our next item this evening is the RDA for Cannon Gate, 75 Sandy Pond Road. And I believe, Kyle, you are still with us?
I am. Yes, sir. Joanne, if we could have yes, that's perfect. If you could zoom in on the buffer around the isolated wetland, that's probably the most relevant, since that's, the main part of it. So this is difficult to do because there's a lot to look at without having any control of the screen. But if you could slide it to the left, that would be great. So what has occurred here is that Cannon Gate came to the commission in 2017, 18, with a request for determination of applicability. They got a negative determination for the work to improve the safety of their driveways by getting rid of all parallel parking in favor of head-in parking off of the main aisle. There has been some widening of the drive aisle that goes along with that. They had recognized the deficiency in access, particularly potentially for emergency access, especially during the winter when snowdrifts were piled up and the driveway became very narrow. Now they'll be proposing to be much safer the way that they're proposing it. So with that plan, which was originally designed by Merrimack Engineering Services, they realized that some of the parking stalls where they were placed would not work for their development very well. Also, it was just some were very close to abutters, and so they endeavored to simply shift some of the parking spaces that they had proposed. And so what you see in front of you, the blue represents spaces that were removed from further to the right, which we don't pan to the right. This is simply a one-for-one swap. So they've not increased their parking, they've simply shifted them to where it makes more sense on this particular property. So what that means is there's an isolated wetlands that was identified on the property at the time of the previous RDA. All of the parking drains within the buffer drains back towards the road and drains to to the middle bottom of the screen, Joanne. There's a couple of inlets down there. So there's basically nothing is draining into the isolated wetland from the proposed improvements. I don't know, Joanne, if you had a chance to go out there and take a look.
I did. I drove through yesterday, and it's honestly easier to see it on the plan than it is to see it in real life.
It must be hard.
Well, they've dug out these areas, but it's really what's hard to see in the field is how the drainage works. So
Right. So if I can, and I'll try to describe that again. I really wish I had control of the mouse, but
Well, just tell me where to drive and.
okay. So basically, as I mentioned, in this area that's inside of the buffer to the isolated wetlands, all the drainage comes back into the road, and it drains to a couple of inlets that are. You see where it says parking shift one space, Joanne, and there's a little arrow to there.
Okay.
That inlet, that's a catch basin, existing catch basin, and you see the kind of green pipe that comes out from that. That's the discharge pipe for a substantial portion of the property, and so that is where all the drainage is going. It goes then into the pipe and it discharges on their property, and it then in this existing channel runs under Snake Hill Road. So what we did to mitigate some of the runoff, and we don't need to pan, but you see the kind of magenta colored contours that are over to the right. There's a very large 12-foot by 8-foot tree box filter, as well as that infiltration basin that is taking a substantial portion of the water that had been draining to that inlet down at the very where the culvert starts. Yeah, down there. So it kind of diverted a lot of that water to a place where there was a suitable space and suitable soil conditions to allow for an infiltration basin to mitigate a lot of drainage. So in effect, what we've done is, despite this, the 6 spaces that are additional here in this location, despite that additional impervious area draining to that low catch basin, we've managed to reduce the discharges onto the adjacent parcel quite significant across all storm events. And of course, that has an effect of reducing overall total suspended solids that are delivered into that channel. And so we're overall improving the stormwater discharges from the property with this project without any additional potential impact that I see by direct drainage contributions to this isolated wetland. There is another element to this project that's within this buffer, which is a portion of the existing discharge pipe was identified as being having a rotted invert. As part of the DPW review, their DPW review of the drainage for the project, they wanted us to certify the condition of the pipe was suitable for continuing to serve the property. And we found that that last 15 feet or so of the corrugated metal pipe needs to be removed. And so there'll just be a ditch out from that cut end of the culvert, reinforced with turf stabilization to help that water on its way without any erosive conditions. There are additional light poles that are proposed. As you can see, of course, they're much larger graphically than what they'll show up in the field. They're, I think they're 18-inch diameter. And so there are a few more of those. There are, I don't recall exactly how many new ones there are in the buffer. There are already a few that are being replaced. But these are fully shielded fixtures that are only directing light down onto the pavement. The abutters made a very big point of that with the planning board to make sure that that light was not cast into the darkness around the isolated wetlands. These are some substantial shields, and I did not include that in the RDA request, but I can certainly bring that up if someone wants to take a look at it. And that's the project. I know we're on a tight time frame. I'd like to entertain any questions that the commission has.
Any questions? Comments?
Really? No.
So in a nutshell, Kyle, they're taking 3 spaces that were up by light pole number 9 and they're moving them down to the 3 spaces by light pole number 11?
Yes, and there is another shift of 3 spaces as well. I don't have the plan open, but there is a correlation, a 1-to-1. So there's no increase in total increase. There's no total increase in spaces on the property beyond what was previously approved. So yes, there's a few near light pole number 7, yes, and I think there's a few farther up as well.
Is this
Yeah.
something that that warrants a site walk, or?
I would request to the commission, with all respect, Mr. Chairman, that these people have had this open. Granted, they launched ahead. They thought they had all the right permissions that they needed. They made some field changes along the way to do what they thought was right for their development. It's been open for the spring, and I defer to the commission, of course, as to whether a site walk is necessary. Request would be able to move this forward for neighbors in the community.
How do you feel about a site walk, necessary or no?
Me?
Who was that to, John?
I guess the commission. You have comments, Jess?
I think I'd be okay.
Mark?
Yeah, I think I'd be okay. Kyle, again, I'm sorry, with the 3 spaces we were talking about at light pole 11, so you're saying from light pole 11 back towards the driveway, it basically slopes that way, so it's bringing the water back away and into that drainage culvert or whatever?
Yes, that's correct. Those 2 patches of blue drain back at the driveway and
Okay.
make their way down to that catch basin inlet on the surface that feeds that culvert going out.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd be okay, John. I'm okay.
Ken, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm fine with no site walk. We've got 9 minutes left in the meeting.
Okay, George?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Alrighty. Is there a motion to issue a negative determination on the RDA for Cannon Gate, 75 Sandy Pond Road? As, what do we say, as amended from the last time?
Well, I have a new request here.
So
So this is a whole separate request than the previous request.
Okay. Then a motion to issue a negative determination on the RDA at Cannon Gate, 75 Sandy Pond Road.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Chairman
votes aye.
The one thing that I need to add here is that Kyle, I was sent a photo of the tree box filter at 217 West Main Street not functioning, and stormwater backed all the way up into the parking lot there because, so the owner says mulch was interfering with the drain. So the tree box filter needs to have some careful consideration as to how it's going to be maintained.
Different owners here. I think they'll be more attuned to that, but certainly we will work with them to make sure they have an overflow that functions properly.
That would be really good.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, that was a pretty disturbing photograph.
Yes.
I've not seen this photograph.
Oh,
So-
I'll send it to you. I've sent it to the owner.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
You too. So how much time do we have left, please?
We have 7 minutes left, just under.
Okay, so we'll get into the notice of intent for New England Power Company, DEP file number 100-0448. And this is for test bores. Is that what that is?
Yes, good evening. This is Allison Millman from BSC Group. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, the purpose of this project is to do exploratory soil borings along the existing transmission line. The purpose of the project is to sample subsurface conditions, the soil, and the depth of bedrock in order to design any future pole replacements that might be required along the utility line. So all the activities that we're proposing are temporary in nature. And I'd also like to mention that this project falls under the qualifications of a limited project because it is work on an existing utility line and in a maintained transmission line right-of-way. We do have some temporary wetland impacts. That's due to the fact of the existing structures being located within or immediately adjacent to these wetland resource areas. To mitigate any impacts to access to these locations, they'll be using temporary construction mats. They're usually a flat wooden or plastic mat they place on the surface of the wetland. It's a best management practice and helps to disperse the weight of the soil boring equipment. Typical equipment that's used for this type of work is a soil borer that's approximately the size of a full-size John Deere tractor. And then they'll also have a couple of pickup trucks along with the crews that bring the men to the work site. The borings themselves are approximately 4 to 6 inches in diameter. After the boring material is brought up and sampled, those holes will be backfilled with the excess material back into the original hole. When the work is done, the temporary matting will be removed from the area. We'll stabilize everything with straw mulch, and then we'll document site restoration, which should happen in situ. The temporary activities associated with the borings are limited in nature. They should be able to get in and get out of a boring location within a week. So we don't anticipate any negative impacts to the existing vegetation. The mats will be placed directly on top, and after the work is complete, they will be removed and the area will be allowed to be restored. Portions of the work activities are within natural heritage priority habitat. We did consult with a 30-day determination from Fish and Wildlife, and they agreed with our interpretation of the regulations that these are exploratory borings and they are therefore exempt activity under the MISA regulations.
3 minutes left. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, we apologize for this rushed time.
Well, I had told Allison we might just be opening to continue, so we've gotten farther than I thought we would.
Are these the type of mats that they used in the oil spill cleanup, that type of?
So Allison, we had an oil spill cleanup where they use high density plastic mats to get miniature heavy equipment in and out of a wetland.
That's a typical type of matting that will be used. But when some of these wetland areas are a little bit, they have some more organic material, they're a little bit deeper. In those situations, for safety reasons, they may need to use the wooden construction mats.
I think given we have just a couple minutes left, do we want to do a site walk on this, or is this not necessary here?
Well, that's a good question. We have actually had some of the abutters call me with concern about this, mostly because they didn't understand the project.
So should we do a site walk?
I'm a little surprised that this is an NOI rather than an RDA, given that it's a limited project.
I'm not sure if it's necessary, and I don't think I want to go walking through that.
Yeah.
That's why they're using swamp mats, as they're called. But yeah.
So should we continue this to our next meeting to actually then make a decision, or?
Yes.
We do it now, unless we can do it now. Probably shouldn't do it that fast.
Oh, I think we need to continue so we can close this meeting in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We apologize.
Sorry about that, Allison.
It's okay, thank you.
So motion to continue the notice of intent. New England Power Company DEP file number 100-0448 until our next meeting on August 13th.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Chairman votes aye. We shall continue this at our next meeting, give you more time.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are we pretty much done here?
got 30 seconds.
30
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah, we don't need to go any farther, I don't think.
Okay.
Well, we can't.
Right, well, yeah, there's that.
I think we got further than we thought,
Yes,
which is good.
yep.
Motion to
Motion.
adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good to see you all.